What's going on, guys? Kyger here, and today we're going to be talking about Punisher and Marvel Future Revolution, as well as do a quick update for my tier list for companions. While you're watching this video, I'm probably at the movie theater checking out the new Doctor Strange movie. Let me know in the comment section down below if you've seen it already and what you thought of it. Let's jump into it. As I said, we're going to be going over Punisher as well as an updated tier list for all the companions. Let me know if you like the way I do this or if you'd like to see it a different way. So because I'm doing it this way, I wanted to show you Punisher like this because we also have the updates down here that we'll go over before we go into the tier list. So Punisher, we're not going to read the ability. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. Bonus effect 1, supervillain damage. Bonus effect 2, supervillain damage. Collection and base attack. So the base attack is real nice. Bonus effect 1 and 2 being supervillain damage is interesting. The only other one that has this is Gilgamesh as the bonus effect slot 1. With Punisher, it's 2.31% at bonus effect 1, and when you go to max stars, it becomes 4.63 on both. So it gives you a little over 9% supervillain damage, which, I mean, I don't know if that's really going to make or break anything. If you really want to focus on supervillain damage, I would recommend going to a character that has that as an exclusive stat on Omega cards and then using those instead of worrying about this, so you can use other things for that. And as a reminder, these are the balance adjustments that happen. We went over this before, but as a quick reminder before we go into the tier list. Spider-Man is doing more percent of your attack when he attacks, and he is now dealing guard damage he did not before. Ghost Rider, the burn, normal burn is 20%. He used to, if they were burning or had burn stack, he would elevate that to a 27% with a stun. Now they're buffing it to 32% because they did not feel it was dealing enough damage, and they skyrocketed the skill damage from about 1200% to 1550-ish%, which is a huge jump in damage. Thor, he is increasing the skill damage. It used to be 33% damage if they were already shocked, so this 1344% would be 33% more if they were shocked. Now it's 45% extra with a 1614 base, which goes over 2000% damage, which is more than Icarus. So let's go into the actual breakdown of Punisher. So here we have Punisher's actual ability. It's called Executioner. It has a 43-second cooldown, which is kind of strange. Hulk is 34, I believe. They're all in the 34 to 40-ish second range. So him being 43 is already knocked against him. We're going to ignore the first part because we're going to check over that as it scales. I'm just going to read the ability. Remember, this is Guard Break Highest, which is base 5% guard break, and it scales based off of your guard damage. He follows the summoner, prioritizing attacking supervillains while summoned, deals guard damage once as the initial attack, which is the highest guard break right there. So he will initially do the 5%. I'll show you the animation in a second. And when the target is under the effect of guard break, this happens when that initial attack happens, or whenever he does an auto attack afterwards, he will, I don't know why it says awaken, but it inflicts, he gives burn to the target if they become guard broken during his attacks. Either the primary attack or any of the subsequent attacks that he makes. Attacking supervillains drastically increases the damage and guard damage regardless of max values. So, checking out the ability right here tells us a whole lot more about what's actually going on here. He lasts for 12 seconds. His initial summoning animation and the initial attack is roughly 3 to 5 seconds depending on lag, server stuff, what have you. So it's really 7-8 seconds of him actually attacking. When you max this up all the way, it'll be 52-53% attack of your attack. So if you're one of these higher players that have 30k, 40k attack, it's going to be doing okay damage. Not anything you can just ignore. And then burns, it has the normal burn of 20%. And if you're attacking a supervillain, the companion guard damage goes up by 50%. So 5% it'll be 7.5% guard break damage, unless the calculations or whatever are weird, because it says final guard damage. On base it should be 7.5, but if you have your own guard break, this should do 50% after you add your guard break to the initial 5%. So it should be your 5% plus your modifiers, then this 50% after is how it should work, how it reads. I have not been able to actually test this. He usually kills most targets, and the only things that I can really test this on is the AR, things like that, which it's hard to tell with everybody else hitting the same target. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get that information for you, but I'll let you know in the future. As you see, the only thing that scales here is percent of your base attack, which really doesn't matter. It goes up by 1.31% per level, which isn't enough to really matter. Then let's check out the actual animation. So you summon him, and then he lobs the grenade. So I wanted to check the tracking and stuff on this. The basic attacks that you're seeing right now go just like a regular character's basic attack. You point, the moment he shoots the basic attack, it's going to hit. They can dodge or whatever, but the moment he pulls the trigger, it's going to hit. As far as the grenade in the beginning, once he's summoned, he chooses the target, and then once he actually fires it, it has a predetermined place it's going to land. So if the opponent has a dodge or their dash up, they can in fact get away from it unless he is too close initially to the target. Now let's go into my rankings. So here are my rankings for companions currently in the game with Punisher added. They're not in any particular order. At the very top I have the rare, at the bottom I have the specials. They're scaled based off of overall usage. So not if one is for a specific game mode, they are weighed lower than someone who could be used in several game modes. Let me know if you like it like this, or if you want it more like King CJ does, where he color codes it, has the colors are based off of what game modes, things like that. Let me know what you want to see and I'll make it happen. So going over right here, starting from the top of rares, I have Ultron and Volstagg at A tier. I believe both of them are very good in most game modes. Volstagg can go up to S tier if you have something like HP recovery or Captain America, who has a self-healing skill which also gives him HP recovery. So that makes Volstagg notch out into the S tier in situations like that. Donna Portz, she is kind of knocked down a little bit just because of how the caps work. Before the DD Part 2 update, I believe it was, I could be wrong about the specific update, I'm sorry, but there was no cap on elemental damage. Now there's a 100% cap. So Donna Portz, I would have put in A tier if there was no cap, but because there is a cap, I have her down in the B tier. Scrag is specifically for Captain America, magic, things like that. She increases guard break. She gives you guard break just for having her on your board. She doesn't even have to be your summon. This list is also based off of their summon ability, not so much as their slot 1 and slot 2 boosts. So keep that in mind. Scrag is great for things like Magneto, which we know is coming back. So having Scrag is not a bad thing. Kasim has possible uses in PvP, mostly group PvP, and I'm even mentioning him because he is a rare and not a special, so he's a whole lot easier to get than any of these other characters. In the S tier for specials, I have Icarus, mostly for PvP, but he can do some good work in PvE because of the sheer percent damage he does. Hulk, I have here for the group PvP. He does a really good job messing up targeting, even in 1v1s. He has his downsides in 1v1s because you can target him where you can't normally target the opponent, but in most cases, he is good. Daredevil, I have in the S tier. Icarus and Daredevil have a weird thing going on here. Icarus does way more damage, but Daredevil is more reliable. And what I mean by that is if Icarus does his initial punch or his beam, and then you go untargetable or invisible, then the attack fizzles out. And with Scarlet Witch coming out, the amount of people who can go invisible increases. Daredevil is set it and forget it. You put him on the ground, he sees the target, he throws the batons, that's it, it's done. Into the A tier, I have Cersei and Thena. They're both neck and neck in my opinion. Thena and Cersei both do really great things in a lot of game modes. Cersei most notably an Alliance raid. Thena can also do work in Alliance raid. The problem with Cersei is that you only really get the effects of one Cersei. So Cersei and Thena are always hand in hand like peanut butter and jelly. Gilgamesh I have here because he is a reliable stun that you can use in some PvP game modes. If you don't have Hulk, Gilgamesh is a good follow-up for a nice AoE stun in group PvP game modes. Baron Mordo is also an A tier. He can slot into S tier depending on your setup for Doctor Strange and or magic. If he helps you hit those breakpoints to elevate your magic or Doctor Strange, then Baron Mordo will obviously slot up to the S tier. As far as the B tier, a lot of these got switched a little bit. I had some of these in the C tier. Some of these got moved up to B tier because of the changes recently. Thor, he technically does more damage than Icarus with the changes. He does like 2300% damage, but the issue with Thor right now is he's not calculating defense pierce. So even though on base numbers he should be doing more damage than Icarus, he's doing like half Icarus's damage. Not exact numbers, but you get what I'm trying to say here. Vision has his place. He does AoE damage, which can really mess with everyone having Hulks, as well as he's a group mitigator because he reduces incoming damage to allies, and he could be going up soon because even though they haven't announced it, I am expecting a balance patch after Scarlet Witch comes out where he gets something based off of Scarlet Witch. Ghost Rider, him becoming 32% burn, 500% extra damage, just raw damage. He does as much damage as Daredevil does. And then instead of the can't dodge, it's a stun and 32% bonus damage. This is a Star-Lord's wet dream. This is a burn Star-Lord's wet dream. Spider-Man, specifically for Spider-Man, he would be an A tier if he had more use for other characters. But Spider-Man helping Spider-Man do Spider-Man things is a great thing. Yondu is in B tier. As I said, it's based off of the summon skill, but I really feel that he would go up to A tier if his slot 1 and slot 2 bonuses were better. Moon Knight is actually pretty decent in group PvP content. It just really sucks that Hulk is around. So Moon Knight has the group AoE damage, and then it takes 6 seconds to do the stun. If it was 3, maybe even 5 seconds for the stun, I would definitely consider using him a lot more. Punisher I have down here at the C tier. Even though he is built for PvE because of his kit, his slot 1, slot 2 bonuses are PvE, and his whole skill calls out bonus guard damage to PvE, bonus damage to PvE. He just doesn't do enough. And Alliance Raid, you would much rather have Cersei or Athena. And PvP, you would much rather have Daredevil, Icarus, or Hulk. Just even Gilgamesh, right? War Machine, it's your budget Gilgamesh. I really like War Machine for slot 1 and slot 2 points, but that's not enough to bring him out of the C tier. Nick Fury, I want Nick Fury to be good, believe me. But Nick Fury, so anyone that doesn't know, if you are guard broken, he immediately recharges your guard gauge, and you cannot take guard damage while you are in his bubble. And he does basic attacks. But he's not targetable. If he was targetable like Hulk, he would soar probably up to the A tier in group PvP content, just because of being a targetable character on the board, and people do get guard broken quite a lot in Omega War and Alliance War. Let me know if you guys think I missed anything on this list here, if you want to see it changed, or how you feel about Punisher. Till next time, guys.